Why? Because it's loud?
I never said you were loud.
You didn't say anything.
No, it looks good with the hat. Got it all covered, right?
No, it doesn't look good with this hat.
Nah, you're right. You're doing good.
Doing good, man.
Okay, Kyle Busch has joined us. Obviously, winner of last night's NASCAR Camping World Truck Series race, and he'll be going for victory number 2 tonight in the Nationwide Series race, and number 3 tomorrow at the inaugural Quaker State 400 in the Sprint Cup Series race. Kyle drives the number 18 M&M's Toyota for Joe Gibbs Racing. He is 3rd in points. He's got 2 wins on the season. Kyle, just talk about how you think the weekend obviously has gone pretty good for you so far, but as you look ahead to tonight and tomorrow night, your mindset.
The weekend's gone pretty well. We unloaded here pretty well last night with the M&M's Camry and did a good job with the Cup Series, being able to get some laps down and have a fast race car right off the truck, so that felt good. Made some changes to it, just trying to make it better and try to learn the place a little bit and what kind of characteristics we might see here this weekend that are different from those I've experienced in the trucks or in the Nationwide Series. But from there, we're trying to get some laps today in a Nationwide car for practice and then qualifying. Unfortunately, I don't think we're going to get there and might not even see the track with the Cup cars. So that wouldn't hurt my feelings too bad. We've had some pretty fast laps this weekend, so we'll just try to go with the best knowledge we can at how to set up the car and kind of pinpoint some ideas to put a fast race car out there on the racetrack for tonight, Nationwide, and then tomorrow, Cup race.
Okay, we'll take questions now for Kyle Busch. If you have one, we've got a couple of mic holders. Raise your hand, we'll get to you. Who's got a question? We'll hear Marty, and then over to Jeff.
I was talking to Jeff Burton earlier, and he noted that he felt like going to as many different tracks as the Sprint Cup Series can go to is the best plan for that series. Do you feel like we should try to go to more tracks?
I don't know how many more there are. What other ones are there that we don't go to that we should go to? I mean, maybe a couple road course events or something like that. There's a couple cool road courses around, but every big speedway that I know we pretty much go to. Texas World is still there, but it's out in the middle of nowhere, so you probably won't get too many people there. But all in all, I do feel like I've always said that the season could be shortened up a couple races by going to a couple places only once, but that's not my decision. That's NASCAR and Network TV, I believe.
Let's go Jeff Gluck. Raise your hand there, Jeff, and then we'll come over to Shannon.
Jeff Gluck from SBNation.com. What was your take on moving from the Nationwide Series, moving from ORP to Brickyard? Do you think that's a good thing? Will you miss ORP? Also, your fire suit hurts my eyes.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I hurt your eyes. I really wish Marty would extend his tie a little bit. Just a little bit.
Clip on.
But clip on from when he was 10. So, back to Indy. I really like ORP. I feel like that's a really cool place. And there's a lot of people that go to ORP that like going to ORP because it's a short track race, because it's been on the Nationwide Busch Series schedule since '82 or whatever, and a lot of history there. A lot of people that have won races there along with the sprint car days, and everything. So moving it to the Brickyard, obviously you're moving it into more mainstream with the Cup cars being there the same weekend. More attention is going to be around it probably. You won't have to travel between two different venues. I guarantee you, since it's going to be at the same venue, I'll probably be running it. So you'll see some Cup guys doing it rather than not so many traveling back and forth from the short track. So I think it's good and I think it's bad. There's certainly two sides to every story, I guess, and sometimes more. But there's a lot of people that would only go to the short track that wouldn't really care to go to the big track, and now that the race is at the big track, you might lose some of those fans, but you might gain more fans because they like the big track. So who knows?
Shannon?
Shannon Spake, ESPN. This season, we really haven't seen one driver dominate like the way that we have in past years. Some of the drivers that were in here earlier were saying that maybe guys are taking more risks to get the victory, strategy, stuff like that. Why do you think there seems to be a lot more parity, and there really hasn't been one team that's kind of been out there every week going to victory lane?
I think it's because everybody's so equal. Competition's so tight. Everybody's got a really good sense of this car now. There's not much room for leeway in the rule book for us to get creative and make our cars faster than anybody else's. So you notice it more come down to the end of the race and strategy and how pit strategy plays out, fuel mileage plays out, and how all of that comes down to who you see in victory lane rather than somebody coming off pit road 8th or 10th and then being able to pass everybody and get up to the lead. The cars are all so equal. They run the same time that any time you can get out front and not have to race the guys behind you, it seems like a better opportunity to put yourself in victory lane.
Let's go Steve Richards.
Steve Richards with PRN. Can you talk about the nationwide points and how tight they are? Is it bringing more attention to the series, do you think? And would you like to be mixing it up in there for the point title, obviously?
Well, I think it's great that it's just the nationwide series regulars or the guys that I guess you'd say check the box racing for the championship over there. So, I think that with the way Stenhouse and Sorensen and Allgaier and those guys, they deserve the opportunity to go after a championship and race for a championship. So it's been cool to see and kind of watching that back and forth and seeing who might win the deal. I've kind of got a couple favorites that I'm pulling for, but it's just it's a matter of getting their own identity in the nationwide series rather than having somebody like myself or Carl or even Kevin, stealing the spotlight for say. I'm sorry? Has the check the box thing worked? I feel like it's, like I said, it's brought its own identity to the series, so I think it's certainly better. We've all known that it probably should have been this way for a while, but NASCAR didn't make the change until just this year. But I feel like it's a positive.
Go ahead, Mike.
Mike Mulhern.net. You're a pretty good road racer. What do you think about, and you're going to be at Indianapolis, I guess, next year. What do you think about driving in that Grand Am on the Formula One course? And what do you think about driving the boot at Watkins Glen?
I won't drive the road course. I'll get confused coming through turn one backwards. So that won't be too good. But, I think those guys being there is going to be cool. I'm actually kind of wondering how they're going to plan the weekend, when we always use that center road, and that center road is part of the racetrack. So how else are we going to get around the course when those cars are running, whether it's practice, whether it's qualifying, whether it's the race, So that's going to be interesting. And all the motorhomes that park down in Turn 4 and the Miller Lite party deck and everything that's down there too, they're going to have to move all that. They can't leave it there. So it's going to be different, that's for sure. But, I won't run that race. Those cars are hot too. They're too hot. Need to be able to roll down the window or something. And the boot at Watkins Glen, if you run the boot, then you got to run less laps. So either way, to me, it doesn't make a difference. Whatever we decide to do, we do. But I think before NASCAR heads in that direction, just off a spur of the moment, we may need to do some testing just to see how gear ratios would work out and stuff like that. And from what I remember, I think the boot is a little bit narrower than the regular course, track width wise. Like say the track's 30 feet wide. I think the boot area of the track's maybe only 20 feet wide. I could be wrong, but from just watching the races on TV, it looks a little narrower. So it may produce more passing zones, but it may not. So our cars are certainly different than Indy cars or Grand Am cars.
Okay, let's go to back here to Jeff. Raise your hand. Get him a mic, please. Brittany.
curious, as you close in on 100 wins here, what are some of your favorite all-time wins that when you get to 100 you're going to look back? I mean, can you maybe name 3 or 5 off the top of your head that individual wins? I know the Bristol Sweep is big, but individual wins that you cherish the most?
That's a tough question. I mean, I probably can't even remember 10 of them, to be honest with you. But, I think Vegas, winning there in my hometown was probably the biggest win of my Sprint Cup Series career. I've not won Coke 600 or the Brickyard or the Daytona 500, so Vegas is right up there on my top of my list. I'd say Bristol night race. Guys always talk about how important that one is and how much that one feels like. There was a nationwide win earlier this year at Phoenix. I led all the laps, and ORP I almost did the same thing, but I didn't get it done. I missed like 3. But the Truck Series, I've won so many there. I think the best one that I remember was the finish at Atlanta with, I think it was Jack Sprague and Johnny Benson or a couple other guys, where we were racing coming to the stripe when we all wrecked out of turn 4, and I made it to the line, and those guys weren't so successful at it. But those are a couple, just the ones off the top of my head right now. But certainly, hopefully, there's plenty more.